Welcome everybody, and hello, Kate. Thanks for tuning in. This is a bit of a new one for us. EarthStarch, started back in 2019, and was kind of on the back of uh, when I had a produce business. We used to throw an incredible amount of food scraps to the landfill. Um, and we had a little bit of a dalliance with compostable bags for a short while and couldn't find a home for them once they'd been used. Didn't particularly like the idea of being part of the single-use game. Stumbled across the early parts of what we're about to present, and got into this into Rosie, and developed a business model also to go with it. And of course, over the last, 7 years now, it's changed a lot. So Judy and I, we started this project, and things got a little bit sidelined by COVID, of course. Uh, but anyway, we keep going, and doing a little bit of research. And why I joined ACN is the alignment between what we believe in was, and in fact, I stole some ideas as well. Um, I liked very much about the community, um, and localizing, and we developed Rosie to be local, to be small, as opposed to having large centralized systems where tons and tons and tons of food scraps are being shipped. What if we were able to distribute those tons throughout community groups? So I feel that we've got quite tightly aligned um, goals, and our vision, having been in the produce business for nearly 20 years, um, I spoke to a lot of soil scientists and gardeners, and they would tell me about how depleted our soils were. So when I again start putting all this information together for us as we were building a business, and it was quite exciting that we could help with depleting soils. Of course, landfill diversion is a big thing, but it's always been keeping things local. As I've spoken to people, and community groups such as yourselves, um, I noticed that there's 50 ton, is kind of like an average, if you will, for food scraps a year being manually composted. Um, and when I look at the numbers, I struggled to see how a business could be made from it that sustained wages and everything. And then, of course, we've got our lovely government that's decided to cut funding for community groups. And so this is when the idea of how can we make Rosie fit within what you people are doing. So this is Rosie. Rosie's an enzymatic food scrap processing system. It works on enzymes. It is a glorified heated mixing bowl, to make it, put it in its simple terms. It will process batches of food scraps within 4 hours. And what we get out is generally about 85% of what comes in. So if we process a ton, and then we will get 850 kgs thereabouts out. So given that it's speed and it's small, so the whole premise for us is in the space it takes for composting, say 50 ton a year, we could put something in that would take up the same footprint and do, gosh, anything up to 5,000 ton. So Rosie is completely scalable and um, comes in sizes. This one here is a 500 kg capacity, and they go up to 5,000 and beyond if we're not putting them into containers or shipping containers. Now, I'll put this in here for a bit of tongue in cheek. I know what we're producing is not strictly compost, but um, it's a little bit of just a little bit of fun, not to get anybody upset. Um, so moving right along, as a revenue example, and I'm probably harping a little bit too much on revenue, but this is what I see Rosie as being. You continue doing what you're doing. Don't change, don't alter your processes. But if you wanted to grow and increase your gate fee revenue and soil sales, then if the market is there, then Rosie can help expand and give you greater resources. So here we're talking about, I'm just looking at, say, 50 tonne as an example, at using what the Upper Hutt site is doing, $14 for a 34 kg wheelie bin thereabouts. That gives them a revenue total of 20,000 just on gate fee. With Rosie in the same footprint, a system that is geared to do 5,000 tonne, and I'm not preaching that anybody does that to start by any stretch of the imagination, but to give you an idea, it's 100 times more. So you're $2 million potential income. So, and this is you're paying all your bills and staff quite handsomely. So it's a bit of an example. So when we set up in Upper Hutt, which was the Upper Hutt City Council came to us and said, look, we'd like to get behind this and see what you can do. We had I think in 2022, 23, we set up and put in a pre-treatment system. Now, during that time, it was proof of concept and how can we make a decent product out the other end. So Ron in 23, 24, beg your pardon, bought our site and he now owns and operates it under the banner of For a Better City. He started with our smallest unit, which is a 1,000 litre. He's over the time grown it to a point where now he has to scale up to a 3,000 litre system. So he's going up 3 times in terms of his capacity. The clients that he's got have been amazing. They're all wanting a story. And there's been no shortage of clients for him. So he's been, well, until he's got this new system set up, then he's just holding them back at the moment. The soil we call, for a bit of tongue in cheek again, Damn Good Soil by Rosie. On the right there is an image of the gardens that Ron has, Mahinga Kai. And Juliet, the head gardener there, is loves the soil that she uses from Rosie and is a great advocate for it. So I know that Franz Plug has been helping Ron a lot with developing different soil types, compounds, uh, from the Rosie output as well. So, in terms of I suppose a good news story, the over the last year, we've been talking with a lot of people, and Sustainable Taranaki have made application with MFE to get the final amount to fund a Rosie system. And Joe, the GM there, I asked him his why for choosing Rosie and his why for EarthSOS. And in his words, he says that, for a better community organization, Rosie is the rare thing that will enable us to do real environmental good and help us earn our own way at the same time. And he goes on to say, we would much rather see it sitting in community hands rather than environment first and profit second than left to extractive companies to make the most of. And of course, Taranaki is in that situation where they can't have landfills, so it all goes offshore or out of town rather. One of the things that I've always been very hot on is making sure that we are constantly developing what we offer and the support and also the technology. So we're looking at how we can integrate solar, and there's been some huge advancements in terms of solar options available. Um, and of course, we're also looking in terms of software, so improving the ESG reporting that we can do. And hopefully by the end of this year, we should have quite a huge um, amount of new developments come to play. So I always like to keep these presentations fairly short, but um, if anything's resonated for any of you, and if there's anything that you'd like to know beyond tonight, then please just give us a call, get in touch. Happy to have conversations and see what we can do to support what you're doing.